I love road trips. Now, I don't mean those road trips that you took in college that maybe you don't quite remember. I mean the road trips you took with your parents that you wish you didn't remember. These were the trips where you ride in the backseat of the family car with your brother or sister battling for control of the line. We all know the line. It's that scene that runs down the middle of the back seat, creating a no-fly zone separating two halves of the car. Many a battle has been waged over the line. Now, my parents, in an effort to draw a truce between my sister and I, they invested in travel board games. The idea here is simple. You take a regular-sized game and then you shrink it down until it's not really fun anymore. If you thought Monopoly was frustrating before, wait until you're playing it with a pair of tweezers. And Connect 4 travels well enough, but the pieces are so small, you lose them all the time, and after a while you're playing Connect 3, and let's just face it, that's tic-tac-toe. So we had the same challenge as we moved to mobile, right? We take all these things we used to do, all these activities, and then we shrink them down and put them on a smaller screen in an effort to try and somehow make them better. But in so doing, a lot of the things that we've historically done begin to die off, a lot of these behaviors. For example, is conversation dead? Now, I don't mean 21st century social media conversation, not in that sense. I mean old-fashioned IRL conversation. Has it gone the way of the fanny pack, right? Now, the problem with conversation is that it just doesn't compete. Right? Smartphones, text messaging, social media, the internet, these are the four horsemen of the talkpocalypse. Conversation never really stood a chance. It simply lacks the features of all of its competitors. You can't like a conversation. You can't post it on a wall. You can't put it in a circle. You can check in from a conversation, but you won't be getting any badges for it. Nobody ever became mayor of a conversation. You can't save a conversation for later, not without being kind of creepy about it anyway. And you can't search for a conversation, although I'm sure it's not due to Google's lack of trying. But you see, the real death punch for conversation comes from the fact it's no longer mobile. Now wait a minute, how can that be? The whole point of a cell phone is to have conversation anywhere. Let's think about it for a minute. The next time you have a minute to kill, go to the Apple website and try and find information about the calling feature on an iPhone. After looking around for a minute, you'll find it's there. There's an obscure page that describes it and it says basically, for all that it does, it's easy to forget that it's actually a phone. Now, other than the fact it's called an iPhone, I see where they're going with that. Phones aren't about conversation anymore. They're about actively avoiding conversation. Cell phones are kind of like car insurance. It's something you pay a lot of money for and hope you never have to use it. And you would be willing to pay more not to have to when the time comes. I bet every one of us have a friend that if we texted them right now, they'd text you right back. But if you call them on the phone, there's no way they'd ever answer. What does that say about your relationship? I gave you my number, didn't mean I wanted you to actually call me. Or, well, I don't find you more than 140 characters interesting. Or how about, have you ever used your phone to avoid a face-to-face conversation? You're walking through Target, you see that person you went to high school with, you didn't like them then, you don't want to talk to them now, so what do? You pull out your phone and pretend to have a conversation, right? Then you can walk on past, hey, how you doing? I'll see you at the reunion. I'm on with the White House here. And, but of course you're lying because who makes phone calls anymore? Or have you ever used your phone to end a conversation? You're sitting in a restaurant or a bar, coffee house, song comes on and you debate with the people sitting around you. Who's the artist of that song? Is that Kenny Loggins or is that 2 Live Crew? I can't quite be certain. But now you know. You pull out your cell phone and in seconds you have the answer. It turns out you both love the same Justin Bieber song. You see, this is what we do. This is what we've become. Our behaviors have forever changed. Which brings me back to my original question. Is conversation dead? No. I think clearly I've illustrated that it's not. But you know what is? Sitting in ignorance. Right? We now no longer have to wonder. We now know the answers. No more boring conversations about what the weather's going to be like today. No more useless chats about where to find the cheapest gasoline. We now empirically know. And we can use all of this newfound time to have deeper, more enriched conversations on things like, oh, I'm out of time. Thank you very much for your attention. My name's Kyle. Thank you.